Hi ladies, it's Katie here. What I wanted to do is make an application video of my favorite application so that I could show you guys the best way to do it, I think. So what I'm going to do is set you down so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is make sure that your cuticles are pushed back. So I actually like to use a metal cuticle pusher. Otherwise you can use Jamberry's cuticle pusher, or you can use a wooden cuticle pusher. So what I do is, especially towards this part of your nail, you want to make sure that you really push that back, because there's something called an invisible cuticle that if you don't get rid of that and it gets underneath your wrap can start lifting at that area. So I'm really going to push all that back. So again, you can do the same thing with a wooden cuticle pusher. You can do the same thing with your Jamberry cuticle pusher. The one thing with your Jamberry cuticle pusher, to get rid of the invisible cuticle, I use this end of it because the soft end doesn't seem to kind of scrape your nail as good. So all those different ways you can do it. And then what you want to do is use your alcohol wipe. So Jamberry has alcohol wipes. But if you have a bottle of alcohol and a cotton ball or whatever, that works just as well. Make sure that you get all the residue off. And then one thing that I like to do, because my nails seem to be weaker, is use a strengthening base coat. That, along with taking my vitamins with biotin in it. So I like Jamberry's strengthening base coat because it's nice and thin. I've actually tried a few other strengthening base coats, and when I put them underneath the Jamberry wraps, they actually kind of bubble, or there's little mounds in it because they're thicker. So this one dries nice and flat. So what I want to talk about while this dries is nail polish remover. So if you have nail polish on and you're going to take it off before you put on your nail wraps, you want to make sure that there's nothing in the nail polish remover that, you know, is like oil or softening or anything like that that's going to get on your nails and make your wrap lift. Because if there's any oils or anything on your nails or that touches the wrap, it will lift. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I already cut the wrap, but what I do is, here's my wrap, my sheet of wraps. This is actually the Mother's Day, one of the Mother's Day wraps. What I do is I lift the wrap, and then I actually just cut it in half. I had already done that though. So here's my wrap, and I actually turn it around like this. Then I'm going to put it in front of my heater. This should be my heater. Let it warm up for a minute. So I'm going to put it in front of the heater till it starts to curl just slightly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it. Actually, the other way you can do it is holding it with your finger, as long as you don't touch the part that actually touches your nail. So I get it as close to the base as possible, and then I actually heat it up again. And then I'm going to stretch and pull to one side, and then stretch and pull to the other side, and then smooth it out. Here is where I really love the Jamberry cuticle pusher, because it really helps smooth everything out, and you can really get a good snug fit. Okay, so then I heat it up again. You can tug at it a little bit more just to make sure that There's no bubbles or anything in it. So this is kind of where I'm at. And as you can see, there's some nail on this side, if it focuses, and some nail on that side that you can see. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it. Just to get the tip off. And then what I'm gonna do is grab my little baggie. And what I do is put the baggie over my nail like this and put it in front of the heater again. And this actually heats up pretty quick. So now the wrap has kind of come down over my nail. And then what I do is I usually move on to the next nail, but I'm only doing this wrap right now. So I'm gonna let it cool off. And there's two ways that you can get rid of the excess wrap. You can either file it or you can cut it using a nail clippers, or you can use the scissors. I actually prefer filing, and the official Jamberry video suggests that you file it at a 90-degree angle, but what I actually like to do is file it at a 45-degree angle, because then I get the slightest bit of wrap off of the tip of my fingernail, and that way I can use my fingernail as a tool because I'm doing that constantly. All right, so what I do is at a 45-degree angle is file. And you see how it's starting to come off? And that was the rest of it came off. Now I kind of take a look at it, and there's the slightest bit at the edge that you probably can't see. The slightest bit of nail showing at the very edge. And then the other thing I like to do is take a not so rough nail file and do the same thing at a 45-degree angle, because that can get just the slightest bit more off, but it isn't as rough. Okay, let's see if you can see that. So the very slightest bit of nail is showing at the tip of my finger. And then what I like to do is use the heater again with the baggie, just to make sure I get a really good tight seal, especially at the tip. Now I use my cuticle pusher again just to make sure everything is nice and tight on my fingernail. All right, so there you have it. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.